It's 1939. The French army is the most powerful force on the planet. There is no question of their might. Its neighbour Germany, a once great nation now battered from the First World War. Yet it took the Germans 5 days to defeat the French, in one of the most masterful military plannings of all time. A strategy they called Blitzkrieg. In 1939, the Allies declare war on Germany. It's a move Hitler did not see coming. He expected the Allies to avoid war at all costs due to the fear of bloodshed like that of World War I. Hitler had had previous plans to invade the East, but now with the huge powers of Britain and France to deal with in the West, he had to postpone his plans.
In 1939, the Allies did not want to tolerate Hitler anymore. Hitler didn't think the Allies want to have another war, and that's when on September 3rd, 1939, the Allies declared war on Hitler. And Hitler was left clueless on his next move.
Germany had just defeated Poland, but at huge cost to their heavy artillery and vehicles, and France was a far greater opponent than Poland.
Poland was Germany's wake-up call. Germany still struggled to defeat them, and Poland only had minimal military resources such as horses and carriages. So after they defeated Poland, Germany lost a lot of their military resources, tanks and artillery. So when France, a much bigger enemy, a bigger threat, declared war on Germany, that's when a lot of German officers doubted or thought it impossible that there was going to be a certain victory against France.
Despite their huge advantage, 800 more tanks than the Germans, the Allies choose not to attack a vulnerable Germany and instead station troops at the German border to prepare for attack, giving Hitler valuable time to plan.
The reason why the Allies didn't attack was because they had a lot of faith in the Maginot Line. It was a French line, defence line even, built by the French to stop German invasion and to stop the bloodshed from World War I happening again.
This gave Hitler time. In this time, all German generals pushed him towards negotiating with Allies. It was a fight the Germans thought they couldn't win. They even suggested battle plans destined to fail in order to cement Hitler's decision to negotiate for peace. But one courageous general took his opportunity to give Hitler a proposition with a far greater chance of success. General Heinz Guderian suggested a plan of attack called Blitzkrieg, which is a tactic meaning lightning war.
The idea suggested to Hitler was one that would provide a quick, unexpected attack that would disorganise the French lines, resulting in a swift victory. Of course, Hitler jumps to this idea, as the Allied forces were his biggest threat.
1940, May the 10th approaches, the day Hitler has decided to attack. The British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain has just been sacked. He is replaced by Winston Churchill, the man who has been against Hitler since the very start. On Churchill's very first day in office, the Blitzkrieg begins, and the Germans' master plan unfolds. They begin by attacking Belgium and Holland, as well as northern France, a move the Allies expected. However, little did they know, this force was just a diversion. The real might of the German Empire was secretly gathering in the Ardennes. They had baited the Allies north, leaving the south poorly defended. the German attack began an arrowhead formation, pushing straight into France. Tanks and heavy artillery led the attack, followed by infantry and supply carts to feed the ongoing attack. 60,000 Germans crossed the Ardennes, charging towards the French city of Sedan. Many Germans haven't slept for 3 days and 3 nights.
Little did the Allies know that the Germans had a secret weapon, a so-called super soldier drug.
Pervitin was a common antidepressant in Germany at the time, now known as methamphetamine. This drug proves invaluable in the art of war.
Many German soldiers had low morale. They didn't have the stamina for a swift attack like Blitzkrieg, and as you'd expect, they were afraid of getting shot. But when popped with Pervitin, they didn't need sleep, rest, they didn't have any remorse or mercy. But most importantly, the drug turned men into brutal killing machines.
The French ordered to defend Sedan at all costs. The Germans begin their attack on the city with wave after wave of Luftwaffe, their new Supreme bomber planes constantly bombing the French lines. The bombs themselves only kill 56 soldiers, however the psychological damage inflicted on the French is incredible.
I want you to imagine being in a bunker, surrounded by the noise of bombings, and just waiting, wondering whether you're next to be hit by a bomb.
The French expected the Germans to take 2 weeks to reach Sedan, not 3 days. In 3 days and 3 nights the Germans had reached the city. An unprepared, shell-shocked France is obliterated by the never-ending German onslaught. Within just 5 days, the Germans had defeated the French, surrounding the Allied forces, cornering them at Dunkirk. For the remaining Allied troops, it seemed they were facing certain death.